Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Charlie Fibrosis, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do your own custom paint schemes for video mode or anything else of the sort for NASCAR Thunder 2. So just to go ahead and show you a couple things, so let me go ahead painting for I have the same separate area. Oh, there we go. So what we're going to do is when you've got the templates and everything like that, I've got mine under 2 template sledge, add and open. In my case, I use GIMP. Photoshop, this will be the same. I'm gonna go ahead and open up template, which I've actually already ahead and done, so we got that. So a couple of things to note. One thing is when you first start on this, I would highly suggest going ahead, cutting out the driver's door window. This is kind of important because I don't know if, because here's kind of what happens. You don't cut this area out, start painting your car, you're gonna have areas like the windshield, for example. You're gonna end up painting that in this blue color, which is going to cause some issues. You would need to do in order to clear that out is would go to scales and go to the select tool, click on that, we down to the base, and then we delete, and that's going to clear out all the stuff here behind here. The reason why that is important, because when you're in game, the game sees this all as like one blended layer, so to speak. So what would happen is your windshield is not going to be a semi-translucent setup. It's going to look blue. It's going to look yellow. It's going to look whatever the car is supposed to. That is a problem. So make sure that you go ahead and like clear these windows out. On the regular template, driver's window is not cleared out. I don't know if that's a necessity per se, but I'm just doing that for my own sake, just to make sure that I'm consistent, because I like to only have to do this like so. I'll go ahead and show you the rest of the. Alright, so I would say that this scheme is as good as I want it to be. Just as a few little pieces of note, just so you guys know, make sure that you guys get to take all the cars that you want for yourselves. So this is broken up into layers and everything. Make sure that you have things selected on your tools. For me, personally speaking, if I'm designing a base, after I've done the window cutout, so I don't accidentally go behind the windows or anything like that, personally, paint, in this case, the base layer, we're going to enable lock alpha channel. What that's going to do is decided to, whatever reason, decide to paint this door black. Oh, look, it isn't bleeding over. It's negative here, and it's keeping with the lines and body of the good. There, make it nice, and we'll just call it there. So what we're then going to do is, once you've got this at least ready to go, we're going to hit a pause, and we are going to go over to find 2 folders that are very, very important for the process. What you want to do is you want to go into your document, and you want to go to your Dolphin Emulator. It may not be named Dolphin Emulator. I might have set this up as my own. But the 2 folders within here that we need to keep an eye on dump, okay? And we also need to keep an eye on load, okay? Dump and load. All right, this is where the next piece of it comes. Into your Dolphin Emulator, go into Graphics, go into Advanced tab, and click on the following items. With custom textures, prefetch custom textures, texture dumping, enable dump base texture. That's about everything that you need. So I go ahead and hit close. Now what we're going to do, we're going to boot up NASCAR Thunder, and we're going to make a paint scheme. Now, you guys won't see it, and depending on how strong your computer is, your computer may not even necessarily feel it per se. You are going to be essentially, everything that is appearing on screen is going into that dump folder. This is kind of important. We're going to go ahead and go into features, and we're going to go ahead and create a car. New, we'll just do new driver, that's fine. Make sure that you have the body selected that you want to work with. So in this case, we're going to be working with a Chevy. Chevy 101 is fine. I don't know about you guys, but make sure that if you are going to do this project, if you're doing a custom car for career mode, make sure that you have the correct number selected. In terms of actual numbers that are available within the game, you only have the 86, 83, 82, the 64, 63, 56, and 53 available to select from. No other numbers are technically real. So we're going to go ahead and go with 82, sure, and we'll set it up that way. Let's give this a nice dark purple color, and run some white numbers. Carry Earnhardt vibes, and we'll throw Aaron's Ren on there, and we'll just call it a day. We'll continue without saving in this case. Go into single player as an example, and go find your car. There it is. There's the 82. Now this is going to be kind of important because there's a couple of things that are kind of going on here. So I would say at the very least, just go ahead, go to your driver, go to a track, go do that, and at least let it load up into, because you just want to make sure that you have everything covered. We're going to practice, and we're fine with it. All right, so now what we're going to do, while we have the game paused, we're going to go ahead and Alt-Tab out, and we're going to go back to our template. So here's this. Here's everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back into Dolphin Emulator, and we're going to go to Dump. And go to Textures. We are going to go to GNCE69. Right? This is the whole entire thing. And if we look around, you can see this car right here, and this car right. Yep, look, see it indeed. This car and this car here, these two, they are on paint scheme. So what we're going to do in this case, just to make it a heck of a lot easier, we're going to go all everything except the finalized product. Pay attention, look carefully, look closely, because that is what we're going to delete those out. There we go. We have two cars, and this is why it's important. We have one, a blackish background here, and then one that has a transparent background. You can sort of see it in the preview file with that. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we are going to highlight these two files. We'll copy, and then go back, back, back. Gonna go to load. The load, textures, find GNC69. That, gonna hit paste, and I at least have mine sorted. Just to show you guys real quick, we have it sort by date descending. So the newest items that got populated are gonna go right there. Now let's go back into painting program. What I'm going to suggest first is go ahead, highlight this, and copy it so you have the pathway for it. Make it a lot easier. This is where you're going to have to be a little careful. When you're done with your scheme and everything, make sure that you turn the mask off. What we're going to do in this case is File, Export. I'm going to go up here, highlight, paste it. Just going to hit enter. Don't want to hit enter again because there's going to be, I modified in this case, and modified to the newest number. There's this one. Good. A background color, export. File, export as. To find that other one. So the other 82, export it and export. Now, in terms of the dump, you don't really need to worry about anything else. You guys remember, just to make sure that I cover this, you are in Dolphin. Like I said, just make sure that you have load custom textures, prefetch custom textures, texture dumping enabled, and dump base textures all turned off. Okay? Makes sense? Good. All right. So here's what we're going to do real quick. So what we're going to do is we are going to turn off load custom textures for a moment. Just a sec. Put it back on. Now, what that should do is when we go back into Dolphin, paint scheme is now replaced. Okay? The reason why that is important is because it is pulling the data from the load folder and is looking for those file types with those names. If you've overwritten it successfully, you will now see the in-game scheme. Now, into the game, we can go ahead and quit practice. Like I said, you don't have to necessarily do practice, but I find that it's the easiest way to be able to get both versions of the cars. They're both all custom, all person-made paint schemes and everything are all going to be like 364 by 364, or sorry, 384 by 384 in terms of texture size. So if you look here, we now have the paint scheme. Paint scheme's right there. Now, this is something very critical that I want to make abundantly clear to everyone. Okay, so any single time, let's just go into create a car real quick, and let's do modify, and let's do new driver. Here's the thing that I want to make so clear, okay? Listen, when you are doing, especially in career mode, your designs and everything like that, any adjustment to your sponsor, you have to compensate for. What I mean by that is, if you say, for example, I don't know, decide to do Aaron's rent on the back as well. You signed Aaron's rent. Oh no, the paint scheme is gone because it's not finding that new file. We can actually go into the dump folder, and I can show you this right now. Go back, dump. You don't need to keep texture dumping always on, but I always cycle through and clear things out just to make sure that everything is right. So looky here. So hey, you know how we had that blue car earlier? Well, we don't anymore, because now it's finding this one which has the Aaron's logo on. You have to, for the finalized version of your car, when you've got all your sponsors and everything like that selected in game and everything, you need to make sure that this is reflective to that newest file. If that doesn't make sense, please leave comments down below. I would try to explain it a little bit better, but essentially you want the most up-to-date, newest version, finalized version of this car. And here's the other thing. Whenever you lose sponsorship, or if you are going to sign whole new sponsors, you need to do the whole thing over again. So what I would suggest is, when you're doing all these contract negotiations and everything like that, go into your dump folder and just blow this all away. highlight it all, delete it out, and then that way it will source and find, generally speaking, newest dump file that is there for the car. Just double check and make sure that you see it and everything like that. It doesn't auto-populate sometimes, it takes a little bit, but like I said, you need to make sure that you have all your sponsors stuff and everything like that in a row before you go on to it, because the goal is that eventually you want to have something of a finalized car. So we'll go ahead and go into race mode real quick, and we'll go ahead and look into my career, and I'll pull that up. And then there we go. Like, we can go into we can go into features, and we can go into our paint scheme. And so long as I don't make any adjustments, anything here, don't change the number, don't change the scheme, don't change the make, don't touch any of this, because you're gonna have to export again. Otherwise, you are going to be able to see your paint scheme and everything there. And once again, remember earlier when I showed you, especially in game, like with how the car was looking and everything, and you could see the blue car populating. What I want to make clear is that unfortunately NASCAR Thunder 2003 with this Dolphin emulator and everything does not have a car viewer type like NASCAR Thunder or NASCAR Racing 2003 season or iRacing does. There is no true car viewer. So if you want to make sure that everything is lined up, either in the creator car or in your career mode, go into here, double check and make sure that things are lining up and everything like that, and then you can be able to have it all work in your favor. I will say that this game is a little bit troublesome in terms of how things line up, and it's kind of hard to figure that out because there is no wireframe on these templates. Like I said, there is no true car viewer setup or anything like that, so it is a little frustrating and a little challenging. But that being said, it's not too hard to do. You could potentially build a base scheme, like a layered base scheme, if you wanted to use something the same. This is a very specialized race car that is just running for the Darlington Throwback race for my career mode, which will be out later on. But that being said, like, hey, the paint scheme's here, and if I need to make adjustments, then you just export it to what you want it to be. It's kind of how I managed to make a lot of the same paint schemes, like the All-Pro car, how it managed to keep that Steve Park aesthetic, but there were minor changes like the roof number, anything else like that. If you build or put together bases and everything like that, it's going to take time, and it's going to be laborious, and it's best suggested that you have it in layered colored groups and everything like that, and you're gonna have to mess with it a lot in order to get it to work. But that being said, you can keep the design and everything like that. I'll even show this to you real quick. Okay, so here's a prime example. So let's go ahead and do, I'll go ahead and leave because they'll look here, we got our Supercuts car that will run. But let's go ahead and scroll back a little bit further and look here. So we got this paint scheme base design going on. We can go ahead and let's say it's black. If we wanted to, it keeps all these other layers, the white, the gold, separate. And then what you can do is when you're done with the base, you could always do a duplicate of it. And if you wanted to do a variant, in this case, as an example, we have a white variant, we have a blue variant, and we have a golden variant. We certainly have plenty of options. But just so long as you save these and everything like that in Photoshop or GIMP or whatever, you're all good to go. Once again, I just want to make it abundantly clear. These templates that I'm using for my career mode are not publicly available, and I will not be releasing them until the owner, he himself, releases them, and then from that point I will share on his site where you can get the template if you wanted to do 2000 career, 2003 specifically. I will say this though, even with the lack of a Dodge template, you can indeed use Sledge's 2000 template to work with the base factory in-game stuff. I don't have everything built together yet, and I will be making some decisions on my own career mode and how I want to do this if I do under 2000. But like I said, we can close out here. The point is that you now have the ability to race your own car, your own scheme, your own everything in the game and have it look well. Like I said, just the biggest two things is that you're getting the dump as your source and you're doing your load for everything else, and just making sure that when you have updated sponsors or anything like that, you can use it for that. So it didn't save my car. I did that kind of on purpose. That's fine. But you can do schemes that way. So anyway, I hope this makes sense. If you guys have any questions in the comments down below, let me know. I hope that this all makes sense. It's not really a hard practice once you get the hang of it. It just takes a little bit of time and takes a little bit of patience. So anyway, guys, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you again next time.